We're going to start with Ed O'Keefe, who joins me here at the family table with what we know so far. That's an important element so far about this new batch of Epstein files.
And it's early on a Friday. There could be a few more system stresses before the end of the day.
We certainly know that to be true, Ed.
Yeah, we do.
What can you tell us?
There's a lot there. About another 3 million documents, 2,000 videos, 180,000 images, give or take. A lot more information about the kinds of allegations that were made against President Trump or then businessman Trump back in the day when he knew Epstein. Lots of new information about the kinds of communications that Epstein had at one time or another with Bill Gates, with Elon Musk, evidence of associations with people like the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick years after he said he didn't talk to his old neighbor anymore because he thought he was a creep. And essentially, much more information from the notebooks of FBI and Justice Department officials who had been investigating the various elements of this for years and found all sorts of allegations that had to be looked into, found all sorts of email, found all sorts of pictures of his house and other pornographic images, the Deputy Attorney General said, although I don't know that we've discovered any of those yet in our ongoing review. And to your point about it being chaotic, it literally was just published this morning to the Justice Department website with no rhyme or reason. Here it all is, you figure it out. And other government agencies have done this at times when they want to say that they've released the information but not give you some sense of a roadmap. The Deputy Attorney General was asked for one and wouldn't provide one to reporters when they asked, is there something in here we should be looking for or looking to highlight? And in essence, what he said was, we've done our job. We fulfilled the law. You go figure it out. And they tell us they've only withheld about 200,000 documents for various reasons. Democrats on Capitol Hill, survivors, and the lawyers that work with them believe there could be much more that, for whatever reason, is being withheld.
And is it our understanding, Ed, and you implied this a moment ago, and I believe there was a statement placed on X by the Attorney General, this is it. They're not providing any more information.
They say that they have fulfilled their obligation to the law. Now, they're 42 days late in doing so.
Point one.
But they say that based on their assessment of everything they've found, they've done everything they need to do. They've withheld about 200,000 documents for various privileges, which means there's classified information or about people who were involved in this, other things that may be active that we just don't know about amid the 3 million plus that they released today.
Ed O'Keefe, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you very much. Joining me now, Barry Levine. He has covered Jeffrey Epstein for years and is the author of The Spider, Inside the Tangled Web of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Barry, I'm always glad to have you with us. As Ed and I just said, there is so much to try to get through. You haven't gotten through it all. We haven't gotten through it all. I don't believe any human on planet Earth has gotten through it all this afternoon. Any initial impressions you have to share with my audience this afternoon?
Well, Major, I will say that it's a mountain. It's a monumental task to begin unraveling these documents. And it may take not only days, but weeks, months, and probably years until we really get true answers. Again, I'm thinking of the survivors. I'm thinking about these women who want the answers and they want accountability. They want to know, as Representative Thomas Massie said, that there were 20 men who took part in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking, according to FBI 302 witness reports. Now, that to me is crucial in terms of understanding this. Who are these men? And what actions did the Department of Justice and the FBI take to corroborate the accounts of survivors about these men? And then I have to add, there's a big wrinkle to this. Just the other day, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator, who is serving 20 years behind bars, issued in legal documents stating that there were 25 men who she claimed received settlements with the government into allegations related to Jeffrey Epstein. So we need to dig through these files. We need to find accountability, and we need to find, finally, why has the Department of Justice not prosecuted other individuals besides Ghislaine Maxwell? And if not, were some very wealthy and powerful men given privileges of escaping this.
Barry, I'm really glad you brought up that legal document submitted by attorneys on behalf of Ghislaine Maxwell. It was a habeas petition, and it said that those were secret settlements. And
Yes.
the point of that habeas petition was to say to the court, if all these other people implicated in these crimes were able to reach secret settlements, why was I alone prosecuted? Now, anyone who is in prison puts a habeas petition forward to try to get their release. There are all sorts of motives behind that, but that is a statement that someone's going to have to evaluate and evaluate against these documents, right?
That's correct. I mean, this is a really sensational bombshell that came out from her lawyers. Now, she herself, of course, has been accused of perjury by the government before her prosecution. But the fact remains that if there is documented material that relates to settlements involving powerful individuals related to this case, that would completely blow away everything we know about the investigation so far.
And Barry, for the attorneys who represent the survivors/victims, they can go through this. They will have time and effort to do that. There could be reputational harm, but what they're after is not just reputational harm, but some thread of prosecutorial action that could hold others to account, correct?
That is absolutely correct, Major. And that's why getting to the heart of this is so important. And it's not only the men who we know that there were others who took part in this. Virginia Giuffre, who has passed on, who was Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's primary and most vocal accuser, detailed interactions that she was forced to be involved with upwards of a dozen men. Okay, so we know that, and we've known this for a number of years. And then, of course, Thomas Massie, the representative who, with Ro Khanna, really spearheaded the Epstein files to get that Transparency Act. He said that there were 20 men, that there was more than a dozen, that there were 20 men. And now Ghislaine Maxwell herself, her lawyers are saying there's probably 25 who may have been involved here. So it is important for these survivors, for the sake of healing, to be able to move forward, is to finally get down to the bottom of this. We've waited years in this particular case, and the government has put us through a grueling 6 months of waiting while this had been politicized, that we're finally seeing actual documents. And I know that there's 200,000 pages that we won't see, that they say are privileged, but we're going to dig into the other material. And thus far, I have not myself been able to find references to those 20 men that Representative Massie had talked about. There's a lot of other material there related to friends of Jeffrey Epstein and very disturbing photos, and the internet is already filled a cesspool of information related to uncorroborated claims about individuals connected to Epstein. But we really need to get to the heart of this.
And we will continue that effort, and we will rely on you to help us in that pursuit. Barry Levine, thank you very much. I appreciate it.